Han and Leia go on a honeymoon. We have some romance on Batu. Plus, we learn about dragons, witches, and more in the Star Wars galaxy. All this week on Star Wars Weekly. Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starrapter, and if you're here looking for the latest in Star Wars, then you are in the right place because every single week I break down the latest that can be anything such as the comics, novels, TV series, and more. And this week we have a plethora of different Star Wars releases. First off, starting with the books. These first two have to deal with Galaxy's Edge, Batu, Disneyland, which is soon to be open in Disney World. The first book here is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is A Crash of Fate, put out by Disney Lucasfilm Press, written by Zurata Cordova. So I have my review of this book on the channel, and what this book is about is it's these two kids that grew up on Batu. The one girl went away. She basically turned to smuggling different things that was kind of in the family. She comes back to Batu for a mission and, reacquaints herself with her old friend. And, well, things have gone much differently between those two characters. The one kid is a farmer. She is a smuggler and a scoundrel, essentially. So it's them two getting along and trying to uncover what's going on, around Black Spire Outpost. So my thoughts were basically, I didn't think this was a Star Wars enough book for me. This felt very much just a generic romance science fiction type of story. They were very heavy-handed with some of the references to Galaxy's Edge. Yes, I know it's there to promote it, but I feel like things were just thrown there and left and right. And you can see, like I said, I have my review of this book on the channel. For my full review, check that out. So next up for the Galaxy's Edge books is Star Wars Myths and Fables. So this does have two stories that relate to Black Spire Outpost or Batu in general, so that's why it's linked in with the Galaxy's Edge books. But this book in general is about those kind of fairy tales, those kind of grim fairy tales-esque for the Star Wars galaxy. You have these tales from these planets on the Outer Rim where people are telling these legends, these stories. These are the types of tales that would be told to kids at bedtime. Think of it that way. Tales kind of like Atlantis of Star Wars, sinking cities. You have different characters that appear that would assume to be certain characters like maybe a Darth Vader or an Obi-Wan Kenobi. So lots of cool stories that relate to different things going on. I have my review of that on the channel as well, so make sure to check that out. And finishing things up, we have Star Wars issue number 70. This is part 3 of the Rogues and Rebels arc. So we have 3 storylines simultaneously going on at the same time, right before the events of The Empire Strikes Back. We have these probe droids sent by the Empire to scout out where the Rebel base is. So we have the Rebels having this diversion plan where we have teams of Luke and R2. We have teams of Han and Leia. Plus we have Chewie and C-3PO all in different parts of the galaxy trying to divert the attention of these probe droids to other places to let the Rebels continue trying to find their new base. So we kick things off with Luke Skywalker's storyline. He's on this planet which he's trying to get these probe droids away from this refueling depot for the Rebels. And last we met him, he ran into this Force-sensitive character named Warba. And in this issue, they are on the run from the people that they stole the speeder from, and we learn a lot more about Warba, how she's Force sensitive, and how Luke really wants to learn more about the ways of the Force, and he's definitely not doing this in a slow way. He's very much trying to get this information out of her very quickly, and she's very inquisitive about Luke because she at first thinks he might be just a Jedi pretender. We also have the storyline with Han and Leia. They are on this one planet trying to cause the sabotage on this criminal-run organization that would appear to be tampered with the rebellion to get the Empire to come down and take them out. So we have basically Han and Leia undercover. They know this one contact that has given them access to this penthouse suite. And, well, they are having a good time. This is basically them on a honeymoon, secret cover, trying to plant the bug into the system to, like I said, make it look like this criminal organization is actually working with the Rebels to kind of, toss things up a little bit in that sector of space to get, again, the eyes off the Rebels. And then finally, like I said, we have the Wookiee and the droid, and they plant bombs on this planet to try to again, destroy some Star Destroyers that might come looking to see what the heck is going on. They find out that there wasn't any scans of life because, well, the scans of life ended up not having a heartbeat because they're rock people. So, C-3PO is trying to convince Chewie that, hey, they have to go back because we'd be essentially destroying an entire population. Would you want to have that on their shoulders? Well, it turns out that the rock people actually throw a big rock and crash the Falcon anyway, and then these people take C-3PO with him underground and close it up, and, well, Chewie's sitting there, and the last shot we have is Vader on the bridge of the Executor Super Star Destroyer in the same atmosphere that we have Chewie and C-3PO. And, well, it looks like they are going to have company very soon because they soon find out that, hey, if they put 2 and 2 together, Chewie, the Millennium Falcon, yes, there's plenty of YT-1300 ships out there, but this has to be linked to the Rebels, and that's our cliffhanger for the issue. So the things I like most really revolve around Luke in this issue, and again, I like seeing how he's progressing with his training, about how he's so adamant about getting this training. He finds somebody that's Force sensitive. It's like, okay, you are my key to understanding the ways of the Force. Remember, this is before The Empire Strikes Back. He hasn't communed through the Force with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He hasn't met Yoda yet. So he's been learning all this stuff on the fly by people like Sergeant Creel and Markova and these different characters that have shown him techniques of a lightsaber that aren't necessarily Force sensitive. So him to meet somebody that actually harnesses the Force, that actually could use a mind trick, it's very interesting for sure. We even see Luke doing a Force grip on his lightsaber as she inspects his lightsaber. He pulls right back to him. So there we go. That's that direct connection to The Empire Strikes Back when he's inverted in Wampa Cave. He uses the Force. We hadn't seen him to do that before. So maybe this is kind of leaning into that. However, there was one thing about Luke that I didn't like in this issue, and he was very, very naive. It seemed like this is the Luke that we've seen on that moisture evaporator farm on Tatooine. Like, it didn't seem like he grew at all in this issue. I feel like before the events of Empire Strikes Back, he should be a little bit more mature, and he shouldn't be saying stupid things all the time, because I feel like he was saying some really dumb things in this issue, and he was getting called out quite often by Warba. So, I don't know, hopefully he grows a little bit more in this issue, and we don't see him like that, because it wouldn't really match with how he appears in The Empire Strikes Back. So I liked seeing Han and Leia go on this so-called honeymoon, because they do have a moment where they actually hold hands and are actually embracing each other for cover, but they both have feelings, so it's cool to see that. And this character named Darth Champion, which is Leia's former love interest on Alderaan, is a really cool guy. So think of him as Daredevil, at least that's why I think of him, because he was the one that was trailing through there, trailing these characters, seeing what they're up to. He reveals his hood after he beats up all these thugs that actually jump Han and Leia. He saves them again, and he's part of the, he's an attorney or whatever in Star Wars, so he feels like, okay, if certain things can't get done by him in the office, well, he goes out at night as a vigilante. He just beats up the criminals anyway. So very much a Daredevil-esque type character. And finally, yeah, C-3PO and Chewie, that's quite a story right there, and I really do enjoy the story, and it's definitely interesting now that they think that it looks like C-3PO might be a god to them, because now he starts to translate their language. He was having trouble before, and they take him underground and close up the ground underneath of him, or on top of him. So yeah, what's going to happen with him? Really no clue there, but overall, it wasn't a groundbreaking issue, but it did set us up for a very thrilling issue number 4 for this particular story arc. So this week's question comes to me on Twitter from James M., the Crazy Gamer Historian. He's asking me, should Hayden Christensen return to reprise his role as Anakin Skywalker in a surprise cameo in Episode 9, and will it happen? So I thought this would actually happen in Episode 8, to be honest with you. I thought he'd be there with Yoda, so it's very surprising that he wasn't. So, I mean, we know that Hayden Christensen has been going around on the convention circuit, and he was there at Celebration, so maybe that's just showing us that he cares enough to even consider being in another Star Wars movie. I think it would tie everything together, especially if there's going to be a very big emphasis on Vader. And again, I know nothing about spoilers. I'm staying away from any rumors. I do not know anything about what the plot could be for Episode 9. if there's any kind of emphasis on Vader, it would make sense, especially if this is going to come around full circle. You know, this is the end of the entire saga with Episode 9. It would make sense for them to pay homage to the past and to have a character and an actor that portrayed that character come back would be, I think, a great win for the fans, and everybody out there would be like, yeah, it's all connected because we have this actor returning. So yeah, that's something I expect to happen, hopefully. So that is going to do it for this week's releases in Star Wars. Now next week we have to look forward to the Age of Resistance. We have Poe Dameron. He's going to be in the New Republic Navy. We're also going to get Target Vader issue number 2, as well as the Star Wars Adventures Annual for 2019. So what did you guys think of all these releases that have to do with Galaxy's Edge? How are you enjoying Star Wars issue number 70? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. Guys, if you haven't seen already, I have lots of Star Wars videos that have been coming out lately. I have my review of Star Wars Vader Immortal, the VR game. I just got my Oculus Quest not too long ago. Loving the game. I also have some little details about that Myths and Fables book, about how there's some certain Sith Lords that were revealed in there that might be true, might be false. So I have tons of content. If that sounds good to you, make sure you go ahead, simply support the channel by subscribing. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.